All right, YouTube was good. I'm back with another interview. Today, I have the founder of Uncommon Education Trading, Jeremy Lieber. I'm not going to do too much talking. Jeremy, introduce yourself.
For sure. Well, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. So my name is Jeremy Lieber. I founded Uncommon Education Trading a couple years back. I've been day trading for almost 7 years, 6 full years now. More recently, full-time day trading, which has been fun. Career in sales, did sales for a number of years, left a corporate job as a VP of sales for a marketing company to trade full-time and run Uncommon Education. I'm pretty low-key laid back. You'll always find me with a cold beverage. I'm a big Mountain Dew fan. I mean, that's about as white as it gets and American as it gets, but I do love Mountain Dew. Love fly fishing, golfing, smoking meats on my Traeger, basically just having a good time. That's why day trading fit my goals so much, because I spend most of my day just doing hobbies, and day trading fit living that life. So it's a little bit about me, what I like to do, and yeah, like I said, excited to be here.
Amazing. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. And that's, the opportunity that trading gives you, to be able to live your life exactly how you want. So, Jeremy, tell us a little bit about yourself before you started trading and what, you said you were doing sales. What were you selling, and what made you, want to transition over to trading full time?
For sure. So actually pretty crazy. I was about as low on the totem pole as you could ever be. I was a door-to-door salesman. That's what I did. And I did it right out of school. I didn't go to college. I went to one semester of college, got like a 2.2 GPA. Was like, nah, this ain't for me. Just had a hard time seeing the logical application to what I was learning. So got into sales. Actually did pretty well for door to door. And it was seasonal work. We were selling pest control. And so I'd only
Okay.
work for the summer months for like 4 months. And it was crazy, sun up to sundown, out pounding doors. But then I had 8 months where I had some cash and some time. So it was perfect for me to spend that time learning how to day trade. I guess the reason I got into day trading, there's really like no noble purpose. It really was like, what's the easiest way that I can make money and have the freedom to do what I want? Now, very ignorant of me to think that day trading was easy, but I knew people were doing it. And so I was like, okay, whatever it takes to get there, I'm going to figure it out. So as you can imagine, the first 3 years went horribly. I lost a lot of money and just fell flat on my face. Honestly, I probably should have quit looking back. Like there was no reason, there was no light at the end of the tunnel, but I was just so convinced that I could figure it out. Just like self-belief, I guess. That after about 3 years, changed some disciplines in my life, started to gain a little consistency, started to make, a good second source of income. Then it started to creep up towards what I was making in my day job. Then I started making more, right? And then got to a point where I was like, wow, this is cool. And ultimately, that's where more of a noble purpose came in for creating Uncommon Education. I grew up pretty, I'd say like lower middle class. I got to play sports, do all the cool stuff, but it was always like hand me down cleats,
Right.
kind of thrift store shoulder pads for football. And so I thought, man, it'd be cool to help people who don't have a lot make money through trading. So that's where creating Uncommon Education came into play, and kind of what led to where we are now. It started, I just recorded a few videos and like had friends Venmo me to like watch the videos, seeing how to trade. And now it's grown into a huge community with, lots of other success stories and cool experiences. And I think honestly, like looking back, why I succeeded was, just that unwavering, almost like childlike belief, right? There was never even an option of quitting. It was like, well, I didn't, I lost all that money. Well, I'm just going to reload and I'll figure it out this time. And I lose that money, like, okay, well, we're going to reload and figure it out.
Just
And I think
reloading
that's,
and reloading.
yeah. And I look back, and I think in that 3-year time, I probably lost like $30,000. But I've, had lots of days now where I make about that in a day. So was it worth it? For sure,
Yes,
right?
for
But
sure.
you have to get to that other side, and that's where I think a lot of traders fail, is they give up too early. So
Right, right. So, like you said, it took you 3 years. What are some common, misconceptions and myths that you went through in that period that you gained insight on that you can share now?
for sure. So biggest mistake I made was going in with a lot of money. I started with $25,000 like an idiot, right? So stupid. Looking back, like, what was I thinking? I wasn't. And so big misconceptions that you need a lot of money to start trading with. At Uncommon Education, we teach, like, we don't want you to start, if you're coming out, fresh out the gate, we don't want you to start with more than maybe $2,000, like max, right? And
Okay.
so I think a lot less money, especially with options trading, you can start with a lot less capital and see good returns. The second, I guess, I don't know, thing I learned along the way is it's really hard to become good at losing. And as a day trader, that's it. Like, the people who can do it for a living and do it professionally, and those who struggle to be consistent, is the pros are good at losing, and guys who struggle, they're not good losers. And it took me basically 3 years to accept that sometimes I'm just wrong. Sometimes a trade doesn't pan out the way we want it to, and so learning how to accept those losses, flip the page, move on. That was a huge turning point as far as consistency with profitability, that again I think a lot of traders struggle with. And so we teach Uncommon Education very practical ways to become good at losing, and making sure that doesn't matter how often you lose, really, as long as your wins are bigger than your losses, you're going to be profitable, right? Even
Right,
with a
right.
50% win rate, you're still going to be in the money.
Okay, okay.
um and then the last thing, just thinking about your question, like kind of what insights I gained, is it's a very simple system. Most trading strategies are relatively simple, but they're not easy. And what
Right.
I mean by that is, when you learn a strategy, you're like, oh, okay, that's simple enough. I just do this at this, and I exit here or I exit there. But what makes it so difficult is your emotions and kind of people's attachment to money. So I think for me, one of the best traits that I have, which is bad in a lot of scenarios, but really good as a day trader, is I am not attached to money.
Right.
I've always been one to like spend money and not care. Little, you could call me frivolous with my money, but because of that, kind of the ebbs and flows of day trading has never bothered me. And I know a lot of people who are much, much smarter than I am just lack that ability to, trust that, yeah, if a losing trade occurs, that you keep going, and, you look for the next best setup. And so I really do believe people will succeed the best if they kind of detach themselves from the money, detach themselves from the P&L, and simply focus on execution. And the money just kind of takes care of it itself at that point. Again, those are all super common things when starting out that I struggled with, that I since have, gotten pretty good at. So
Yep, and I 100% agree. Having a system in place can definitely, make it easier to become detached from that money and keep your emotions out of your trading. So,
100%.
can you share, a little bit of the basic strategy that you will learn in Uncommon Education?
For sure. So, like a lot of groups out there, we're technical analysis based. We trade big name stocks, the Teslas, the Googles, Microsofts, Amazon. We will also trade and reference SPY, the ETF, a lot. But our system really is quite simple. I guess you could call it a combination of supply and demand based on simple levels, where we go back and we've seen buyers have held previously, or we go back and we see that sellers have rejected, previously, and make assumptions based on a few key indicators that we have. We only use a few indicators on our charts. We use a moving average. We, look at volume, and then we'll use basic candlestick patterns to kind of confirm our trade ideas. And the idea is, if an opportunity presents itself and we get, 3 or 4 of our check boxes as far as what looks good for, potential move in either direction, that's what triggers our entries. Very much a fluid system. So we teach structural stop losses as opposed to like a hard stop loss.
Okay.
which is nice in the sense that a lot of times people will get stopped out on a trade and will then proceed to go in the direction they wanted to, and they, don't understand why. We really want people to understand, the structure of a trade, and as long as, again, your risk tolerance is, we like to have at least a 2-to-1, preferably a 3-to-1, win to loss, or I guess reward to risk ratio on any given trade. It removes a lot of the stress behind the trades that we take, right? So
Right.
even if you have a little bit drawdown, you're not worried because you're, maintaining a proper reward to risk ratio. So that's the basis of it. We also have swing trade analysts in our group that are unbelievable, on a bit of a heater with our swing trade group right now, but that's the basic idea. Our kind of pitch to people is we trade for less than an hour every day. So I personally, again, it's all geared around hobbies, right? Like usually in the morning, I'm off to the golf course, off fly fishing. So I live in Utah and stock market opens at 7:30. I will rarely trade past 8:30, 9 a.m. in the morning. Like I want to
Right.
be done, logged off, in and out of my trades within that first hour. And with our strategy, primarily based on volume and some of these moving averages, you can capture really nice moves in that first hour. And I guess you could classify us as a combination of day traders and scalpers, where we'll hold
Just like
trades for
that nice
30.
little medium, where it's not too quick but not too long, spending, all day looking at the screen.
Exactly. We're not in and out of trades in seconds, but a good move, we'll catch 3 5-minute candles and exit for 30 to 50% profit, and we have the nice thing for me is that every single day that type of movement occurs on these big name stocks.
Right.
We'll scan through and find those that have volume, but every single day, and that's what's cool about options trading, right? Whether it's up or down, we can, go long or
There's
go
money to be
short.
made.
Money to be made, exactly. So that's a little bit about
Okay.
our system and some of the indicators we use.
Okay. So what are some of the challenges you faced building and growing uncommon education, and have you overcome them?
Yeah, super good question. I think a super common concern with anyone is just validity, right? Like people hear, statistics of day traders, and funny enough, I think about this all the time, right? You Google how many day traders, succeed, and it's like 10%, less than 10% are profitable. I wonder how much of that demographic they're gathering those numbers from are people who have a Robinhood account, who buy a stock because their buddy tells them they qualify themselves as day traders. I
Yeah.
think if you took a group of people who went through a course like Uncommon Education or some of these other groups out there, I bet that number would be drastically different. People who have been properly, educated. But I'd say the biggest concern growing it is just validity. That's why I try to put myself out there a lot. I'll like give people my cell phone number. I'll voice message them on Instagram, let them know that I'm a real guy. This is what I do for a living, right? I've got a wife, I've got 2 kids. I'm just a normal dude. So
Right.
that's helped a ton as far as overcoming that kind of, is this just some furu on the internet, right? Is this some just guy who doesn't do it? The other thing I do is I live trade in our group. So a couple times a week, I'll share my screen, trade with real money, real time, kind of put my money where my mouth is. I know a lot of analysts won't do that for fear of losing. And my whole thing is like, yeah, you'll see me lose, but you'll see how I lose, which is
Right.
why I am
Losing
where
is
I
a part
am.
of the game. So it's
Yeah.
only it's a big red flag when somebody never shows any losses.
For sure. And it's funny, I tell people, I'm like, look, some of the best learning you'll ever get on these live trades is by following me in a loss and exiting for a loss. Like that is, I know it's not as fun, but it is some of the most valuable training that they'll get. The other piece is just being different, differentiating yourself, right? There are a few, however many hundreds, thousands of groups out there.
Right.
I think the cool thing that we do on Common Education is we teach people to become independent traders, right? Like our goal, like we want them to become independent even of us. Like I don't want them to be solely reliant on my plays, because what if one day I'm fishing and I can't send, any alerts, or one of our analysts is sick? It's like, what, you just can't make money that day? Like, no,
Right.
we want our members to be able to identify their own setups, their own plays, and stick a part of the group and stay in the community because of the value we provide as far as, our watch lists, the potential plays we send out each day, the live sessions, right? The community. And so if they stick around for that and, you know, are trading on their own, that's a huge win for us and what we strive for to kind of make ourselves a little bit different.
Right. And ultimately, like you said, self-sufficiency is the key to where they, can identify their own trades. So
Mm-hmm.
that's totally different. A lot of these groups just want you, to stay apart and paying a subscription to them.
For sure. And so we have subscription service. We also do live mastermind events where it's kind of a higher ticket item. I basically hold their hand and walk them through the whole process, you know, help them get profitable quickly. But again, what's cool is if people come to us and they're like, hey, like I'm ready to go out on my own and, you know, don't really see the need for you guys anymore. I'm like, dude, best of luck. We're here if you need us. Like, love to see you back. But what ends up happening is a lot of people stick around because we make it easy for them. We do a lot of legwork on the potential plays in the morning. We give that continued education. I'm very accessible to this fact that they can message me and, you know, get insights on trades they take. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you're just buying and selling when someone else is telling you to do that, like what happens when they decide they don't want to do that anymore? Or what happens when they
Right.
die? It's like there goes your source of income, which we never want for our members. So
Okay, exactly. So I'm not sure if you watched any of my other interviews, but whenever I bring somebody on, I give them the opportunity to, share their screen and we do a bit of market analysis.
oh cool. That's very
Yeah.
cool. I haven't seen that. That's very cool.
Yeah. So if you want to just hit present, you can share your screen and
For
let's walk
sure.
us through.
Let me pull up. This is going to be from my phone here, so I should be able to pull up some analysis here.
All right.
Okay. So the present button, is that more? Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time finding the present button.
it's not showing share screen.
I don't think so. Let me flip it landscape mode here for a second. See if this does it. I don't. If you wanted to, you could throw a chart up on your screen and I could kind of analyze it if you were cool with that.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not seeing it. I wonder if it's because I'm on my phone.
It's probably just because you're on the mobile version.
Man, I'm unprepared. That's
no.
that's
It's all
minus
good.
points for Jeremy.
Let's see, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Here we go. There we go.
You in that?
Yeah, now I can see it.
All right.
So you want me to just kind of share an example of kind of what we look for and what we look at?
Right. So today, well, this is the ES. If it'll load up. Jeez.
Yeah, that looks like yes, that big old drop.
Yeah, huge drop.
Mm-hmm.
Huge drop. If you see right here, I burned for about here.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, I was thinking there was gonna be a bounce, but there wasn't. So I ended up getting out right there. I lost about $1,400, but fortunately, I got out where I did, and didn't hold all the way down here. That would have been ugly.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So.
No, that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I can kind of break down like what we see and what we look for with kind of our setup. So just on ES in particular, which again is kind of an overview of, you know, the market in general, kind of what's going on.
Right.
We'll identify areas of resistance and support. One of our favorites is previous day highs and previous day lows, right? So seeing where the previous day high was, seeing where the previous day low was, And we will typically trade on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, but we will identify our areas of support and resistance on the 20-day, 1-hour chart. And so for anyone who's watching, kind of the reason for that is when looking at the 20-day, 1-hour chart, it gives you a much, bigger picture as far as, where sellers have rejected prices, where buyers have held prices. And for us, when we can identify those levels on the 20-day, 1-hour, then on the 5-day, 5-minute, once we see interaction with those levels, we can see some pretty cool, pretty big moves, quote unquote, big moves in the market in a relatively short amount of time based off those levels. So if you can see on that level, the 4114, which looks like you may have even had that marked as a level of support.
Yeah. I always mark the lows and highs.
Perfect. So one of our strategies is, and kind of just a breakdown of that trading example, what we look for as far as bounces go, we kind of have a 4 criteria process. One is we use, again, moving averages on the 5-day, 5-minute time frame. We like the 9 EMA, the 21 EMA. Those are the EMAs that we use. When you see a stock price super far extended, either above or below the EMAs, right? That's a good sign to be aware of, okay, where's the next support level? Where's the next resistance level? So in this example, you would see, the stock price is very far extended below those EMAs. Now, once we see interaction at a support level, okay, once it kind of is approaching a support level, that's step 2, where we're looking, hey, here's a support level that we found through our, mapping out earlier in the day or earlier in the week. And step 3, and one of the biggest things we look for, is an influx of volume at that level. Something that a lot of people get confused at is they'll be so focused on the candles and what the candle's showing, looking for a buying wick or whatever. A lot of times the bounces come where there's no candle confirmation, right? But one thing you can always identify whenever you see a big bounce or a big rejection is an influx of volume. So what we teach is that when you see, in this example, super far extended below EMAs, you see it's at a support level, and we get that big influx of volume, you can assume and should assume that is buyers holding that level, right? We never assume that a level is being broken. We respect the support, or we respect the resistance. So in this example, it hits that bottom level. And then the 4th level of confirmation, what we look for, and again, this is just one of many different strategies we teach, would be some type of bullish reversal candlestick pattern. And so if you zoomed in at that bottom level, 4114 on ES, just kind of made that more of a full screen.
Right.
Trying to see if I can look here. Are you able to zoom in on your end on that section?
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, bro.
Oh shit. Hold on. Almost placed this stuff. Oh gosh, that was gonna be bad.
That.
Yeah, I know. Get that out of there quick.
So
you don't need it.
No. I mean, that'd be a great live trade here on this call. That'd be funny. So as an example, again, here, if it hits that level, we're looking for a number of different things. Just a handful of the, bullish engulfing candle is a candlestick pattern we look for. Hammer candle, right, which is, very long buying wick and a small, buying body of the candle. The morning star. There's a few different patterns that we, familiarize our members with. And once you are able to see that, that's kind of the ultimate form of confirmation to, get into the trade type of thing. So in this example, talking about our structural stop loss, if our reason for entry was a bounce off of a certain level, so in this example, the 4114, then we would use that as our stop loss, right? Anything that goes below that area, the trade is invalidated, right? It is broken. So we're exiting out of the trade. And then as far as take profit levels go, especially if we're extended below those EMAs, we will actually use those EMAs as a take profit level, right? And so if it
Right.
bounces up to either the 9 or 21, we'll use those as take profit levels, and then use other levels for take profit as well, whether that's previous day lows, areas of confluence or consolidation. So that's one example here on ES that we can see is what we look for. We really teach staying patient, and if we have, let's say, 5 stocks with high volume, we will look for these types of setups in those trades. The last piece that's always interesting and something that I think makes a huge difference is trading with the trend, right? It's one of the most classic terms in day trading is the trend is your friend, right? And so if we're in a downtrend, I'm looking for rejections, like higher low points to enter for a continuation move to the downside. You never want to try to catch a falling knife, and if you see signs like we see here of a strong reversal, that's awesome, and we have a criteria to kind of meet in that scenario. Otherwise, if we get a break below certain levels, we'll wait for a retest of the broken level and look to go short once we get confirmation of that break. But here, that's just a quick example here on ES where even in a massive downturn like this, how you can maybe catch and identify a bounce area with a few set of rules and criteria that we teach.
Exactly. And so that's just one of the many strategies that Uncommon Education teaches. Jeremy, I thank you for coming on today, sharing your knowledge with us. I'm going to link I'm going to link you know a link to Uncommon Education so y'all can get in there and take advantage of even more of the knowledge that's inside of Jeremy's community, and interact with his community of traders.
For sure. And anyone who watches this, we have a discount code where our monthly membership's $150 a month, includes all our education content, live trading with me, daily potential plays and watch lists. If you go to our checkout page, if you type in the code 50 off first, so that's 50, the number 50 off first, just in one, no spaces, anything, it'll get you $50 off your first month. But no, I really appreciate you having me on. It's been fun, and always love talking stocks. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's my favorite thing in the world to talk about. That's what this channel is about. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Peace.